My fiancé said. I'm keeping my ex's last name after we marry. It sounds better than yours. I nodded. Then I quietly returned the $6,800 wedding dress and booked a solo trip. What she found in her closet the next morning left her speechless. I, 32M, thought I had found the perfect woman. After 3 years together, everything seemed to be falling into place. We had just gotten engaged 6 months ago, and wedding planning was in full swing. The venue was booked, invitations were ordered, and I had just picked up her dream dress from the boutique downtown. A stunning ivory creation that cost me nearly $7,000. That Wednesday evening, I came home from work excited to tell her about the final alterations being completed. She was sitting on our couch, scrolling through her phone with a glass of wine in hand. When I mentioned the dress was ready, she looked up with that smile that used to make my heart skip. She told me she had been thinking about something important. She said she had decided to keep her ex-husband's last name after we married. When I asked why, she explained that my surname sounded too ordinary, too common. Her ex's name had a better ring to it, more sophisticated. She said it would be better for her career in marketing, that clients would take her more seriously. I stood there processing her words. This was the same ex-husband who had cheated on her with 3 different women during their marriage. The same man who had left her emotionally devastated and financially struggling when their divorce was finalized 2 years ago. Yet she wanted to carry his name into our marriage because it sounded better than mine. I simply nodded and told her I understood. She seemed pleased by my reaction, mentioning how reasonable I was being about it. She went back to her phone, probably texting her friends about wedding details, while I excused myself to the bedroom. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. The woman I thought I knew was showing me sides of herself I had never seen. This wasn't about practicality or career advancement. This was about something deeper, something that made me question everything about our relationship. The next morning, she left early for a work conference in the neighboring city. She would be gone for 3 days. After her car disappeared down the street, I called the boutique and explained that I needed to return the dress due to unexpected circumstances. The owner was understanding, especially since the tags were still on and no alterations had been made yet. She processed the full refund immediately. Then I opened my laptop and booked a solo trip to the mountains. I had been wanting to visit this particular hiking destination for years, but she had always found reasons why we couldn't go. Too remote, no cell service, not enough luxury amenities. I reserved a cabin for the weekend and planned to leave Friday morning. But before I left town, I had one more task to complete. I went to her walk-in closet and removed every single item of clothing, every pair of shoes, every accessory. I carefully folded and packed everything into boxes. The expensive dresses I had bought her for special occasions, the designer handbags she treasured, the jewelry collection she had built over the years, everything went into storage containers. Then I drove to a storage facility across town and rented a unit. I placed all her belongings inside, organized and protected, then locked it up. I kept the key and the receipt. In place of her clothes, I left a single note on the empty closet floor. Since you prefer keeping your ex's name over taking mine, I thought you might prefer his things over mine too. Your belongings are safe in storage unit 247 at Secure Space on Oak Street. The key will be with my lawyer on Monday. I hope his last name serves you well. Friday morning arrived, and I drove into the mountains with a strange sense of relief. The cabin was everything I had hoped, rustic, peaceful, surrounded by towering pines. I spent 3 days hiking, reading, and thinking about what I really wanted in life. The silence was therapeutic after months of wedding stress and relationship tension. I didn't check my phone until Sunday evening. 43 missed calls, dozens of text messages. Her voice in the voicemails ranged from confused to angry to desperate. She had returned from her conference to find her empty closet and my note. She was demanding explanations, threatening legal action, then begging me to talk to her. I listened to every message but didn't respond. When I returned home Sunday night, she was waiting in the driveway. Her face was red from crying, her hair disheveled. She ran to my car before I could even turn off the engine. She said she had been worried sick, that she didn't understand what was happening. She asked why I had taken all her things, why I had left without explanation. I told her calmly that I was simply following her lead. She had made it clear that she valued her connection to her ex-husband more than her commitment to me. I explained that someone who chooses to honor their past over their future probably wasn't ready for marriage. She insisted I was overreacting, that it was just a name. She said it didn't mean anything emotional, just practical considerations for her career. But I could see in her eyes that she knew it meant more than that. We both knew she was lying. She spent the next hour trying to convince me that she would change her mind about the name. She offered to hyphenate it, to use my name socially, and keep her exes professionally. She promised it didn't mean she still had feelings for him. But the damage was done. This wasn't really about a last name anymore. It was about respect, priorities, and the realization that she would always put herself first, even at the cost of humiliating me. Update 1. Monday morning, I met with my lawyer. I gave him the storage unit key and explained the situation. He reviewed our lease agreement and confirmed that since we weren't married and the house was solely in my name, she had no legal claim to exclusive access. However, he advised me to handle everything properly to avoid potential complications. My lawyer contacted her that afternoon and arranged for her to retrieve her belongings from storage. He also informed her that I would be keeping the house and that she had 30 days to find alternative living arrangements. Everything was completely legal, but it sent a clear message. She tried calling me repeatedly, but I didn't answer. She showed up at my workplace Tuesday afternoon, causing a scene in the lobby. Security had to escort her out after she started shouting about how I had humiliated her in front of our mutual friends. Apparently, word had spread quickly about our broken engagement. Her sister called me Wednesday evening. She said my ex-fiancé was staying with her temporarily and was devastated by everything that had happened. Her sister tried to mediate, suggesting that we could work through this with couples counseling. She mentioned that my ex-fiancé was now willing to take my name completely, no hyphenation, no professional considerations. I thanked her sister for calling, but explained that the name issue had simply revealed deeper problems in our relationship. Trust and respect couldn't be negotiated back into existence through counseling sessions. Thursday brought unexpected developments. My ex-fiancé's best friend reached out to me through social media. She said there were things I needed to know about why the name issue was so important to my ex-fiancé. According to her friend, my ex-fiancé had been in contact with her ex-husband throughout our entire relationship. Not physically cheating, but emotionally reconnecting over the past year. Her friend felt guilty keeping this secret, but said my ex-fiancé had been questioning our relationship for months. The ex-husband had recently gotten divorced from his second wife and had been suggesting they might have rushed into their own divorce. He had been telling my ex-fiancé that she was the one who got away, that he had made terrible mistakes. Suddenly, everything made sense. The name wasn't about career advancement or how it sounded. It was about keeping a connection to someone she thought she might want to return to. She had been using our engagement as a safety net while exploring whether her ex-husband wanted her back. Update 2. I confronted my ex-fiancé with this information when she came to collect more of her things on Friday. She initially denied everything, then broke down and admitted she had been confused about her feelings. She said her ex-husband had been contacting her, making promises about how different things would be if they tried again. She insisted she loved me and wanted to marry me, but I could see the uncertainty in her eyes. She was torn between the security I offered and the excitement of possibly rekindling something with her ex. She had wanted to keep her options open, and keeping his name was part of that strategy. I told her she was free to pursue whatever future she wanted, but it wouldn't include me. I wasn't interested in being someone's backup plan while they figured out their feelings for someone else. She deserved to explore what she really wanted, and I deserved someone who was completely committed to building a life with me. The weekend passed quietly. I spent Saturday returning wedding deposits and canceling vendors. Most were understanding about the circumstances, and I recovered about 60% of what we had paid out. The venue coordinator even mentioned that she had seen this type of situation before, cold feet manifesting in strange ways during wedding planning. Sunday evening, my ex-fiancé's ex-husband showed up at my house. He was exactly what I had expected, confident, well-dressed, with that smooth charm that probably worked well in his sales job. He wanted to talk man to man, he said. He told me he respected what I had done, that I had handled everything with more class than he deserved. He admitted he had been pursuing my ex-fiancée, trying to convince her to give him another chance. He said he realized now that he had been selfish, interfering in our relationship because he couldn't handle seeing her happy with someone else. I listened to his apology but told him my issue wasn't with him. Adults can make their own choices. My issue was with someone who would entertain those conversations while planning a wedding with me. If my ex-fiancée wanted to explore reconnecting with him, that was her decision to make. But she should have been honest about it instead of trying to have both options available. He nodded and said he understood. Then he told me something that surprised me. He said my ex-fiancée had called him after discovering her empty closet. She was angry with him for putting her in this position, for making her question our relationship. She had told him that she realized she didn't want to go backward, that she wanted to build something new with me. But it was too late for that revelation. Trust, once broken, doesn't heal just because someone realizes they made a mistake. Update 3. 2 weeks later, I ran into mutual friends at a coffee shop downtown. They updated me on my ex-fiancée's situation. She had decided not to pursue anything with her ex-husband after all. According to them, she realized that his renewed interest was just about the challenge of winning her back, not about genuine love or commitment. Once she was available again, he had quickly lost interest. She was apparently devastated by this realization. She had gambled on having 2 options and ended up with none. Her friends said she finally understood what she had lost when she prioritized keeping connections to her past over committing to our future. They asked if I would consider talking to her. She had supposedly learned from this experience and wanted to apologize properly. She understood now that her behavior had been disrespectful and hurtful. She was ready to take my name, cut contact with her ex-husband completely, and do whatever it took to rebuild trust. I appreciated that she had gained some clarity about the situation, but I wasn't interested in reconciliation. This experience had taught me something important about what I needed in a relationship. I needed someone who was excited about building a life with me, not someone who had to learn through losing me how valuable our relationship was. The following month, I used some of the recovered wedding money to take that solo mountain trip I had planned. This time, I stayed for a full week, hiking different trails each day and sleeping under stars that were invisible from the city. It was exactly what I needed to clear my head and start thinking about what came next. When I returned, I found a letter from my ex-fiancée in my mailbox. It was handwritten, several pages long, detailing everything she had realized about herself and our relationship. She took full responsibility for her choices and their consequences. She didn't ask for forgiveness or reconciliation, just wanted me to know that she understood the gravity of what she had done. The letter was well written and seemed genuine. I could tell she had put real thought into understanding her own motivations and behavior. But reading it only confirmed that I had made the right decision. Someone who needed to lose everything to understand basic respect and commitment wasn't someone I wanted to rebuild with. 6 months later, I'm in a much better place. I've been dating someone new, a teacher who finds my last name perfectly suitable for her future. She's never been married before, has no complicated history with exes, and seems genuinely excited about building something new together. We take things slowly, but there's an ease and authenticity to our relationship that I never had with my ex-fiancée. My ex-fiancée eventually moved to another city for a new job opportunity. According to mutual friends, she's doing well professionally but hasn't started dating again. Maybe she's taking time to figure out what she really wants, or maybe she's still processing the lessons from our relationship. Either way, it's no longer my concern. Looking back, that empty closet was probably the best gift I ever gave both of us. It forced an honest conversation about priorities and respect that we probably wouldn't have had otherwise. She got the wake-up call she needed about what relationships require, and I got clarity about what I deserve in a partner. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for someone is to stop accepting their poor treatment of you. Sometimes walking away is the only way to preserve your own dignity and create space for something better to enter your life. The mountain cabin is now an annual tradition for me. Each year, I spend a week there reflecting on what I've learned and what I want to create in the year ahead. It's become a symbol of the independence and self-respect I almost gave up for someone who couldn't appreciate what we had together. That expensive wedding dress got returned, but what I gained in return was invaluable. The knowledge that I would never again settle for someone who treated our relationship as one option among many. I learned that respect isn't negotiable, and commitment can't be conditional. My last name might be common, but my standards don't have to be.